Hi, I'm Michael from Cloud App. Thanks for visiting our article on 8 systems and policies to get the most out of remote working. With so many companies moving to remote working, it's important to understand what companies can do to make sure that their remote work policies and their remote work efforts are as effective as possible. So let's jump into it. We're going to start by talking about what the benefits of remote work are. A lot of companies have seen the positives of remote work, and so it's important to understand what those benefits are. The 8 systems to facilitate remote working are: first, eligibility. It's important to understand which of your employees are eligible for remote work. Some will be effective and some won't, and so it's important to understand which ones will best work under remote circumstances. Next, we'll talk about availability and responsiveness. Uh, if a company, allows its employees to work remotely, it's important to understand who's available and how responsive they can be uh, once they've put that policy in place. We'll talk about productivity measurements. It's important to make sure that your employees are still accountable and that they can be measured so that that productivity still exists. We'll talk about equipment and tech support. Some employees who work from home may not have the tech that they need at home, and so it's important that they have that technology so that they can be as effective working remotely as they are working from the office. We'll talk about remote versus in the office and finding the balance between, allowing employees to work remotely and allowing employees to work from the office. Not every company does complete remote work, and so it's important to understand to find that balance. We'll talk about the physical environment. It's important to understand and make sure that employees are safe when working from home and that they have the right measurements in place to make sure it is as safe as their office. We'll talk about digital security. Uh, Employees need to make sure that they are protecting the digital space of the company, and so it's important that there are different tools and processes in place to make sure that you're safe. And then finally, we talk about client confidentiality. Working from home might be a little bit more relaxed, but we need to make sure that client information is protected. Remote working is definitely the new normal now, and so it's important that companies and employees alike understand what that means and what policies and practices they can put in place to make it successful. So, good luck.